Welcome to Core Content Today for April 24th, 2023. This is the show where I break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting right now, including is DSL going away, YouTube TV announces a ton of new features, and Netflix upgrades their ad-supported plan with new features, but the same price. We're going to be talking about all this and a whole lot more here in a minute. First, though, if you want to find anything about these stories, check out the show notes down below and in the first pinned comment. I'll put a link to each story there so you can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, though, could you do me a big favor? Could you help me grow? Could you help me support my family? Just hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, let YouTube know you enjoy what we do here so YouTube recommends our videos to more people, helping us grow, helping us support our families here, and hopefully helping you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. So with that said, let's dive into it. Starting off with AT&T is looking at shutting down its DSL network. And finally has a good option for areas that do not have fiber to replace it. For the last about 2.5, coming up on 3 years later this year, AT&T has not been selling DSL. If you had DSL, you could keep it, but if you didn't, you could not sign up for AT&T's DSL option. They've been rolling out fiber, trying to move people to fiber, but the problem with that has always been that fiber is not everywhere yet. There's some areas where fiber is very hard, where DSL was a good replacement option. Well, AT&T is now rolling out a new service called AT&T Internet Air. Internet Air. This is basically a 5G wireless home internet service, much like Verizon, much like T-Mobile, that offers wireless internet over the air in select markets to be able to replace DSL. Now, in the promo video that they posted online, it's clearly talking about pushing DSL customers to this new service, saying, hey, DSL is old, it's antiquated, this new service does not have data caps, this new service actually has a halfway decent speed with it, and it's only $55 a month. It advertises itself as being between 40 and 140 megabits down per second. That's a decent speed. It's not crazy fast. It's not crazy slow. It's fast enough to watch Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and more. Now, again, this is targeting people who live in rural areas mostly, where DSL is still the only option out there, where they're trying to replace that with fiber to your house. And in this case, where that's not practical, using 5G internet to replace DSL. Now, it's been reported that AT&T reportedly wants to reduce the copper network, its footprint of remaining old-fashioned copper lines that go to the home to offer phone and internet and more, by 50% between now and 2025. That's a big deal there. And there's a lot of people who still live in areas where DSL is really the only option. I did for a little while. We moved into a new neighborhood, and Spectrum at the time in that area was not offered. We had to go with, for us, it was CenturyLink at the time. Thankfully, it was fiber, but it was the only option we had. We could not get cable at the time. And there's many people who do live in older areas that still DSL is maybe the only option. Now, increasingly, new options are coming, SpaceX, 5G internet, and more. But look for AT&T to quickly try to dismantle their DSL network. It's old, it's aging, it probably costs them a lot of money to maintain it, keep it going. They want to get people to cheaper, newer options like this fixed wireless and DSL. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Let me know, do you live in an area where you're stuck with just DSL? I'd love to hear from you. But what do you think about being forced off of DSL eventually to a fixed wireless option like this? I'd love to hear from you. All right, Netflix last week announced the new things. We talked about the DVDs shutting down. Yes, very soon Netflix won't be renting DVDs anymore. Maybe you didn't even realize they still did that. But now Netflix, in that mix that we didn't really talk much about last week, they announced that the ad-supported plan is getting new features, including going from just an SD 720p up to 1080p full HD. Now, 720p used to be considered HD. Increasingly, places like YouTube and others do not consider that HD anymore. So I always write that off as not HD in my mind. It's really a personal preference on that. But Netflix made it very clear that they are going to try to roll out some new features here. And the biggest one is the fact that ad-supported plans now get full 1080p without needing to pay extra for it. Same price. It's really nice to see them rolling that out with that on that. And you get to stream to 2 devices with the ad-supported plan. All right, let's jump forward to Hulu's live TV service. A little over a month ago, Sinclair-owned ABC affiliates went dark on Hulu. We broke that news then, and late on Friday night, they came back. So after a little bit over a month of fighting, Hulu and Sinclair, Disney and Sinclair reached some type of agreement. According to Sinclair, they reached a deal in principle that allowed ABC affiliates to return. We have a full list of all the ABC affiliates that are being re-added to Hulu down in the show notes in that post if you want to read the whole thing there. But good news there, no terms of the deal has been announced. But if you skipped Hulu Live TV because maybe your ABC wasn't available at the time, it could be now. Check that out. All right, AT&T and DirecTV could be merging. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. DirecTV and Dish could be merging. It's been talked about for a long time that there's a possibility of these two companies combining the satellite services, much like SiriusXM came about from Sirius and XM Radio merging into a single satellite radio service. Dish last year's CEO talked openly about the possibility of it if the time was right, if the deal was right. AT&T CEO last week was asked about it and pushed a Q comment on it. What's the probability of DirecTV being sold or merged with Dish? Now, AT&T spun DirecTV off into an independent company, still owns a controlling stake in it, the best, I think about 70% of the company. And during that, AT&T CEO basically just said, hey, I'm not commenting on that. I'm not going to get into speculation. Basically just dodged the question, which raised a lot of questions. Is he just being, are negotiations in and he doesn't happening? He doesn't want to play any cards possibly while negotiations are happening. There's been some talk that maybe they just won't bother merging and eventually just shut down the service instead of trying to merge it into one to keep it going. If you think about it, with low Earth orbit satellites from Amazon and SpaceX offering high-speed internet here in a few years to rural Americans, their ability to stream content through Sling TV or DirecTV Stream will be a lot easier, making it practical someday to say, hey, do we really need these very expensive satellite TV services? It costs a lot of money to put those satellites in space. Eventually those satellites will break, need to be replaced, and they may not want to do that at some point in the future. So it raises the question, and I want to know, what do you think? Will DirecTV and Dish merge? If it did, I would suspect that Dish would probably buy DirecTV from AT&T. That's just my guess. Or do you think they won't? And they'll just say, hey, now that high-speed internet is available in rural America, if they want TV, they can go to a streaming service. We're not going to put expensive satellites in space to replace the ones that break eventually. Leave me a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. All right. Late last week, on Thursday night, YouTube TV announced a ton of new features and improvements, including bug fixes for the Apple TV, improvements to the 5.1 audio-visual sync, multi-view improvements coming for NFL Sunday Ticket this fall. Hopefully that comes out very soon. And YouTube TV will be improving its picture quality. They'll hopefully dramatically improve the experience. A lot of people watch games, especially at a higher bit rate with clearer picture and smoother motion on the screen. We'll keep a close eye on this, but if you want to read all the details there, check it out. But a few things stood out to me. Number one, Apple TV 4K has had some bugs. They think they've nailed most of them, but there may be another bug out there that they're working on that sometimes crashes the YouTube TV app on the Apple TV. Second, picture quality is improving. I'm very excited about that. It's good, but like with all streaming services, fast motion is always tough. By improving the bitrate to be higher, motion should be smoother, offer better picture. And if you use 5.1 surround sound, they're working on getting a better sync more consistently between the 5.1 and what's happening on the screen. If you want to find out more about all that, check out the show notes. I'll put a link to it there. You can read all the stuff down there with it. All right, Walmart, next story up, I should say. Excuse me. Walmart's new $19.88 Google TV streaming dongle is now fine for sale in stores, not for sale online. You have to walk in a store. And you can buy it there. But this is a cheap, very cheap at $19.88, 4K streaming player with Google TV built into it from Walmart. Now, if you want to see if your local Walmart has it, there's a link in our story down there where you can put in your zip code and see if it's available. But I have confirmed from multiple people that they bought it and are using it and really like it. It's a very cheap 4K streaming dongle. And if you want one, if you want Google TV on the very cheap, it's a way to check it out. I'll put a link down there below where you can enter your address in our story and you can find out if this is available where you live. Well, that's it for today. I hope you had a fantastic day. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, let YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so YouTube recommends our videos to more people, helping us grow, helping us support our families. We would really appreciate it. So until next time, take care, be safe. I'll be back again really soon. Thank you everybody for your support. It means the absolute world to me.